Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Team Infinity podcast. We have another good one for us today. A little bit different, actually. I think it should be a really fun one, though. Give you a little bit of peek behind the scenes. But yeah, with us as the standard crew these days, we have President Crab, Hayden, and then Matthew. And Cody is a little sickly, and so he's not on camera. So we have the Crab with us again, but he'll have us some good insight, hopefully. But yeah, anyways, with that said, like you said, I hope this is a fun one for everybody. This is a little bit of behind the scenes kind of how the team kind of functions and kind of the thought process behind deck building and coming up with new ideas and kind of trying out new concepts. We've been testing a new deck kind of behind the scenes, and I'm going to CCS in 2 days now as of recording this. And so by the time you guys see this, it'll have just happened. But this was one of the concepts that I had like strongly considered taking because it was very different and I think could have potentially caught people off guards, but I think it's just a little too, I don't know, fragile, high rolly, whatever you want to consider it, for at least like where we are right now. And so that's kind of, again, the thought process that, from concept to iteration to idea to testing to just kind of go all through that stuff and kind of how it can diverge. So Hayden started the idea of Amber Emerald and kind of, had a shell of a few things that he wanted to try. And then from there, I kind of started testing it, and then Matthew kind of started testing it, and we all kind of just like tinkered around with it a little bit. And
wait. You said Amber Emerald.
Did I say Amber Emerald? I thought I said.
Did.
Oh, it's Amber Amethyst. Amber Amethyst. Yes, Am. With just the amethyst core being as strong as it is, like having that with a little bit of different tools that Amber could potentially offer comparative to some of the other decks that are currently out there seemed like a decent option, especially with Amber actually having removal now, which is kind of weird to say, but yeah. So anyways, we will kind of just be going through all that today. So it should be a fun little behind the scenes, kind of give you some ideas of like how we go. And so if anybody out there is trying to build a deck or trying to come up with a new concept, that's kind of what we're going to go over and kind of what we're going to discuss and kind of, again, just go through those steps of where we are and how we got to where like the final versions and the starting process and everything. But yeah, before we get started, I do a terrible job about it. And Matt just reminded me, so thank you for that. Got a shout out, Mattified. Again, we partnered with him to have an affiliate program with him. And so if you haven't checked out his mats, he does all of custom foiling on all of the Disney Lorcana official mats. And so if you have one of your favorite mats that you like out there, he blings them out and makes them look fantastic.
I think he posted today some of the ones he's taking to CCS with the
Mickey. Yeah, and he is at a ton of the big events in the community as well. And so if you're ever at one of the big events, you should check out his social profiles. It's just at Mattified on all the socials, I think, and see where he's going to be too, because he is at a lot of the different ones. And if you want to have like one of yours custom done, then you can like ship your mat and then he'll bling it out for you. And then on top of that, we have a TCG Player affiliate link out as well. So if you are ordering anything through TCG Player and you want to support the / the podcast, you can just buy your normal singles through TCG Player like you normally would through our affiliate link, which is in the description of wherever you're listening / watching this. And free way to help us out. So appreciate all the support. So with that said, I'll kick it over to Hayden, and let's start off with your like first version here of the deck, and kind of just take through the initial like, I guess just theory, because this all has to start from somewhere, of just like, oh hey, this might be kind of cool or this might work. And so just kind of what are the thoughts on how to get started on this and kind of where your head was at initially when you built this.
Yeah, so it's just mostly the Amethyst shell being so strong and the lack of people playing this deck. So I thought, it's probably the most unplayed color combination. So it might be the most, like, it has the most room for improvement. So there could be, some diamonds in the rough or some hidden gem deck that no one has tried that works really well. And there are a lot of good tools for a curve-centric format, which we've started to like get into more. So that's why I thought it was the perfect time to try it.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. And So the Amethyst package being so strong, like you said, I mean, I think they're, gosh, I mean, it used to be like 2 or 3 staples, but now I feel like it's 4 or 5 staples between Cheshire Cat and Genie and Elsa. Um, that's a really, really strong core. And then you can throw in Demona and Hades are becoming very, very, very common in just about all of the Amethyst decks as well. And so that's just a very, strong core that you can pair with. Uh, Ruby Amethyst, has seen a lot of success lately. Obviously,
Mhm.
Purple Steel has seen a ton of success this entire format. So
And I
yeah,
think those two decks are the ones that this deck was trying to target.
sure.
With the Bagheera 3 cost, really like makes them stall out in the early game when they don't think they should. And then you have a lot of big bodies like the 4 cost Demona and the Iago. Then the red purple deck doesn't have great ways to deal with the Iagos, and the purple steel deck doesn't have great ways to deal with the Demona. So either of those on turn 3 or turn 4 are usually good enough to like stall your opponent to where you can start dropping like your bigger bodies and like getting a Simba on the board eventually.
Yeah, and so Simba being the new Whisper Simba, the 7 cost inkable that has a boost 3 that says, whenever you place a card under him, uh, look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a character card, you can play it for free. Exerted, kind of like the old Simba or
It
old
says
Mufasa card.
it says flip target Simba from your deck.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
and I also thought like having access to Mowgli would be really good, because that's a tool that Amber has that most other colors don't have with Amethyst,
yep,
especially.
yep,
So I thought that would be very interesting. The Rapunzel, out of the new set, the 1/2 with support that gives the shield, the
yep.
2 cost. I thought that card is like one of the more powerful effects that we've seen out of the new set, and so I thought that would be interesting to try to exploit with like some of the big challengers we have to give them shields and a little bit of support. So
Also, I want to go back on a second. I will say also with this deck coming into fruition, it did take like a week or 2 weeks of Hayden looking at all of these Twitter posts of people posting a tier list of deck combinations and being like, "Oh, everyone puts Amber Amethyst at the bottom." I think there could be something, guys.
yeah, I mean, and it just seems like a challenge and just like exciting. It's like, okay, how good can this be? How good can I make
Yeah.
this?
I mean, after testing this for a solid, I mean, you've been doing it what for 2 weeks ish now. I've been at it
Um,
solid for a weekish.
Probably a
Um,
weekish, really. I mean, the last pod we did
was
was
it
when we
that
were,
was it? Is it only a week?
yeah,
Man,
I think so.
God, man, the amount of games you play in a week to make it seem like it's been a
Hmm.
month, I
I
guess.
know it's crazy.
Yeah.
I played a
So
lot this week.
I think the last card to just note in here would be the Horseman Strikes,
Hmm.
the new Amber action that says draw a card and then you may banish a chosen evasive character. It seems to be a very evasive heavy meta these days with all of the, again, Amethyst package being very evasive heavy and very, very relevant. On top of that, you have Prince Philip, obviously, which is evasive, and so it can banish him as well. And so it did just seem like there were a lot of different tools and ways to exploit. And so, yeah, so that's, kind of a starting point. And then from there, we have Hayden's second version, which we have up here as well. If you're watching or if you're not watching and you're just listening, we'll try to go through a couple of the key changes here. It's, a lot of the same core, obviously, but just a lot of tweaked numbers. This one has 2 Bagheera and 2 Raja instead of just 4 Bagheera, with a lot of the same cards, and then we also have the new Scrooge McDuck in Amber, the 6 cost 4/7 that quests for 2 that has the ability that says whenever you play a character with boost, you may boost them for free essentially. So he pairs super well with the move. God, I always call him Mufasa, the new Simba card. So yeah, kind of talk through here, Hayden. How you make these changes, and kind of again the thought process behind the testing and getting to like a refined list and a refined idea as we kind of go through the process.
Yeah, I mean, this one is still really early in the process. It was still more of just like trying new cards and seeing like what interesting interactions could come out of them, like what cool things you can do, like what are the options and like potential you have. Not necessarily like how consistent is it or what's my win rate. It's more just like what's the cool things I can do. Like what is
Yeah.
the what do I have in my arsenal? And the 6 cost Scrooge McDuck was sneakily good actually. His 7 willpower is very makes him very tough to deal with, and often he survives, and you just get to play your Simba next turn, and you get a free character. Well, yeah, basically free.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this deck is basically the same as the first one. It just has the Raja in there to try to make the Rapunzel a little bit better.
Sure.
I think we should probably go to the next one now
Okay.
and talk about that, because that's the real second draft, right? Oh no, this is the last one. You're on the wrong one. This is the end.
That's all I have. Those are the 3 I have.
Oh,
Do I have another
well
one?
then we'll show one of yours, the Pluto version. We need to see a Pluto version because that's really the next step in the process,
Oh,
right?
yeah, here I do have yours too. Let me pull it up over here.
Yeah, so the Pluto, this was like the next step was putting in the Plutos, like because I thought with red purple
Yeah, I'm
playing
sorry to cut you off real quick. We didn't mention the lantern in any of these versions. So especially for the
oh
people
yeah,
listening, lantern is in here to kind of help you ramp a little bit to get to those bigger Iagos and bigger Demonas to stall out those curve decks a lot faster. And then also just kind of by happenstance, it doesn't get hit by Webby. And so you get to do some of the cool ramp things and not have the downsides of, the Webby interaction. So anyways, yeah. So we threw in Pluto on this as well to, again, kind of assist in some of that ramping.
yeah. So this one we put the Plutos in so you can play the Bagheera, the 3 cost 4/4 inkable character on turn 2, and also the Cheshire Cat, the 3/4 with boost. You can also play that card on turn 2, and then the same strong plays with Genie, Demona 4 cost, and Iago on turn 3. Um,
Yep.
but you also have strong plays with sorry. So let me say this deck ended up devolving down to being just an evasive, basically like evasive control deck where you're just trying to put your evasives on the board and then race your opponent
Sure.
with a bunch of characters that they can't interact with. And one of the cards that often would give us trouble was the Iago. Well, for me, so this one has the hypnotic strings.
Yeah.
That helps a lot because you get to establish the genies fast, and then the Ursula 5 cost, which ends up being one of the MVPs of this deck, and it actually like holds it all together because she quests for 3, and the only real like threats to her most of the time are Iago, and so the hypnotic strength dealing with it immediately is like throws them off their game so quickly, and then she starts questing for 3, and then the game just ends, and it was
Yep.
extremely powerful that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you talk about Iago being only the only counter to Ursula. Well, he can't even one shot her. She's a 4/5 that quests for 2, and if she's boosted, quests for 3 and is evasive. And so, we definitely had a lot of success with this one, and I definitely agree that ended up being kind of the identity of just it being a very fast evasive deck that can do a lot of pseudo ramping with the Pluto and the Lantern.
And then
But it also,
you have
yeah,
6 copies of the like evasive-ish removal cards with 3 Horseman Strikes and then 3 Hypnotic Strengths. Like you just kill Iagos and then quest and hope that they need to have another one. Realistically.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, you kind of see again, just a little bit of the honing in on like the core competency of the deck of like getting some of the bigger bodies out here faster, adding in some copies of Pluto to help do that, adding in more evasive answers because that's what you're trying to do is you're just trying to out evasive your opponent, and so having more answers to your opponent's evasives makes it a lot stronger.
Yeah, just problem solving is the biggest problem. So it's how do we try
Sure.
to mitigate that, and what's the best way to do that? And Hypnotic Strength just is the most flexible way, in my
Yeah.
opinion, because it's so
Yeah.
good in most situations.
And it draws you a card, which obviously is really good to just keep cycling through. And yeah, so that brings us to the latest version of the deck. And so yeah, we'll kick it off one last time to you on just kind of talk through this last version and how it's iterating.
Yeah, so notably this one I took so I will say I played like 100 of ish games with that Amber Amethyst deck, the one with Pluto probably, maybe more. I don't really know, a lot. But the problem with it is Zach said it a couple days ago, is you go on these streaks of 8 or 9, 10 best of 1 wins in a row, or 4 or 5 matches in a row, but then you'll lose 3 or 4 games in a row, and it feels inconsistent in that way. And um, it's hard to judge most of the time because it is such a new, fresh deck, and some loss you can make one misplay and lose a game that your deck was supposed to win. Like, your deck might have had the tools and the capabilities to win it, but you made the wrong play, and so you lost. And so in your
Yep.
head, you mark it as a negative for the deck, but in reality, you had a way to win. So,
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I was actually going to ask Matt because I know he did a ton of testing on this one too. Just on that same vein, there's a lot of decisions and there's a lot of obviously like points in the game where things can either go wrong or go right, or you could have done something differently. Like, what information or what kind of things or pattern? It might just be pattern. I might just be answering the question for you, but like, what is it that you look for when you are making these testing runs that either solidify the idea that it's working for you, or tell you kind of what you need to change, and like how do you go through that decision making process on like what to try next?
I mean, I think it really comes down to what you said, like patterns. Like, what am I losing to? What cards are giving me problems? Like, what can I not out? What is my deck doing really well? And you want to keep those cards that are doing really well. Get rid of the cards that are doing sub-optimally or sub-poor, are not performing that well.
And how do you tell? And how do you tell when you don't think something is performing up to the standards that you'd like to see?
Well,
I have an answer. I just want to see if your answer matches mine.
Well, usually it's really hard to like pin down those problem cards because you have to draw them, and then if you're drawing these cards and they don't fit in these like these boxes that we have them in for, then it's going to be really hard to like choose which one is like performing worse. But it really comes down to like when you draw them.
Yeah,
they just don't check what you need them to check.
I would say the one of the signs for me when I'm trying something new or testing something or trying to figure out if it's working or not, or should be in the deck, or how many copies should be, is like, especially with inkable cards. I mean, it's a little harder with uninkable, but it's like, how many times are you inking it? If it's something that you're always finding yourself inking and you're never playing it, then it's probably not the right card to be in the deck, because it's either doesn't have the right synergies with the rest of the deck, and so it just you never find the time to play it, or it's a good card and it just your deck isn't good enough around that strategy to really work, and so you're never playing it on that regard. So I think it has to do with if it's something that you're always wanting to play, like Bagheera, for instance. Hayden has mentioned that one a couple times already. Bagheera to me was like the MVP of this deck, because when you're able to get it out on 2 from the Pluto, in the builds with the Pluto that he said we tested a ton, and you'll see when I go through my lists and versions here in a second, that there's a ton of Plutos in there. Like, getting a Bagheera out on 2 or a Cheshire Cat out on 2 is really insane, because they then have to make the decision on like, okay, it's no longer really a free Pluto trade, because normally it's like, okay, I trade for the Pluto, they trade for their thing, my thing lives. And so it's like, they still 2-for-1ing, but then the Bagheera or the Cheshire Cat makes it a 2-for-1 on your side, even though they are taking out the Pluto. And so that to me was like the sign that like, okay, this is very, very insane, because I'm always looking for this line. A few of the other cards, it's when it's like it always either comes up at the wrong time, or you never are in the right board state to play it, or you're too far behind, and so it's not as good as you'd hope it to be. Situations like that are kind of like, in my mind, that I'm looking for on like, okay, this card might be really good, but it's just not fitting in to the overall like pace that the deck is putting out, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we kind of went through like in the next, so this is a really perfect transition, because the next thing I want to kind of talk about is like how your play style can kind of fit with this and how things evolve. And so you saw kind of Hayden's process through the different decks on this last version. There were just kind of some tweaked numbers. He went back to the Elawani, the new 1 costs character that has support, basically the Amber Basil. Has Raja in here, the 2 cost 3/3. That's also just a very strong board presence.
Yeah, but I will say this deck is not tested. It's just what my next direction is. More
Sure.
so. Like,
but I think that, like, again, that supports the my initial or my comments right there recently on like the Bagheera. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to put out some big bodies that can like do stuff early and hold up a board. And I think Bagheera helps that a lot. You have all the evasive stuff and everything else. But yeah, so let me flip over to my first list here. I kind of jumped in on the Pluto side of things and like really enjoyed that because again, I found it just super impactful to be able to play Bagheera or Cheshire Cat on 2, especially into the curve decks. I think the most success that I had in this was into Ruby Amethyst and Amethyst Steel. And as Hayden said, the initial concept was kind of made to deal with those decks because the last couple weeks over some of the big tournaments, there was just a lot of success from those curve decks, especially coming out of the CCQ in Vegas that we talked about last week. And so this was kind of attacking that deck. And so if we look at mine compared to Hayden's, I do have 4 Mowgli's to kind of help against the Sapphire matchups to either hit a sail or the Prince Philip combo, malicious mean and scary, or whatever the case might be to deal with some of the more top end decks. And then 4 Scrooge, 4 Simba, 2 Hypnotic Strength, 4 Horsemen, 4 Lantern. So this is very much like a ramp early and get out some of those bigger bodies. And then as you're drawing with Genie, you're drawing with your Hades, or you're getting a free character down with Simba, you're just able to then refill and continue to put the pressure on. But I think, the initial thing that I was finding out with my build is, again, like what's working, what's not working, is going into the second version, wanting to have just a tiny bit more draw. And so throwing in the evasive package, a little bit more of that. So adding in the Dumbos and adding in the Augos to just be able to have a little bit more draw, because if you get out to a fast start and you have to trade a little bit, then you get to a position where you need to continuously refill. And so having Dumbo and Iago to really just round out that evasive package and have a little bit more draw, I think was, again, just like another theory to test. When you build these decks, you don't know if it's the end goal or if it's the end result. But it's, just kind of a theory to test. And so had a little bit of success with that. And then moving on to the third version, I think these ones are like super close, just a few changing numbers. No, so I dropped Mowgli in the third version. And what did I put in here? God, they're just so similar. Oh, I put the Demona back in. So I dropped the Mowgli because again, the thought process is I'm always trying to Pluto on 1 into Bagheera or Cheshire Cat to then just be able to continue to pressure the board. And so needing those bigger bodies on 4, as Hayden initially talked about as well for his builds, just really continue to hold up the board against those curve decks. And then lastly, I kind of went off the deep end here. And what I found was I was having a really, hard time like finishing off the game against the more control-y decks. And Simba and the Scrooge were just, a little too slow against the top end, and against those curve decks, the big bodies on 3 or 4 were just doing such a great job of holding everything up that you didn't really need that high top end to beat those decks, and you needed a little bit more speed. And so I went Daisy Duck and dropped the Scrooge for the Daisy Duck, and just went like pedal to the metal, try to power out as much lore as you possibly could with the Daisy. And the fun I guess synergy that you have with Demona is if you're giving them a couple cards early and then you get out an early Demona, that you don't really give them any cards from the Demona because you've already given the cards from the Daisy, and so it's not as big of a disadvantage to play a Demona. But yeah, I think I kind of powered through that. But the reason I did is because I wanted to just show like my version was very much quicker than Hayden's. He kind of continued to stay with his same theory on the kind of a little bit of mid-range board control, and then get into some of the evasive pressure, and then just kind of quest out from there. Where my experience and play style decided to go just very, very quick and try to just get to 20 lore as fast as possible. And so going 12 1-drops with Pluto, Daisy, and Rafiki, not guaranteed, but put in a lot of opportunities to play a 1-drop on 1 and then a Lantern and a 1-drop on 2 to really, just continue to like really kind of flood the board and then set up for your big 4-drops that you're wanting to play. Or even potentially a 5-drop if you have a Pluto and a Lantern on board after turn 2. So, I think, again, the point I'm trying to make through this, I guess, monologue at this point is everybody has different play styles, and again, like once you take somebody's list, and so for those that are watching, you can see all of my decks are named Hayden but worse, because I just feel like you kind of take somebody's stuff and then you start to tweak it and it just gets worse from where they started it from. But it's more just again a different style, and so I took it and I made it a little bit quicker to fit my play style. But ultimately, again, I think that's where you have to put in the reps to understand what's working for you and what's not. And then with that said, we can go to Matt's latest list, because his is the exact opposite of mine. I decided to drop a lot of my top end and go even faster, and he did the opposite. So I'll kick it over to you again, and you can kind of talk about why you decided to go the opposite route with the deck, and kind of your preference and your play style and why you ended up here.
I mean, the only thing that's like super late game is like the Monstro, and I was having problems with like just trading back with like Hades or Clarabelle, so I just decided just to put Monstro in the deck, see how it felt, and it felt decent. It did the job of what I wanted to do.
Sure.
I will say I would in this list I would want to put a couple more 2-drops in the game or in the deck, because I've found that like going Pluto into Lantern and tapping Pluto Lantern, playing a 2-drop into a 4-drop or a 5-drop, I felt like that was like some of the powerful lines I could possibly be doing with the deck.
Yeah, like that's definitely one of the things that I agree, that getting out. Like I don't remember what else was on the board, but I remember playing Elsa on 3 into a Webby. I think it was I think it had to no, I think it was one of the Elawani builds where it was Elawani into Lantern Pluto, actually. I think was my turn 2, and then on turn 3 I played Elsa buff with Elawani and then hit the Webby, which I can assure you my opponent did not see coming because again they've just never played against this deck. But I think that was one of the things that I had troubles with, was just not having enough early game things to do, especially if your Pluto does die, then that like throws off your curve because you can't play the 4-drop or the 3-drop, and so just having more of those early game things that you can potentially do if your initial plan gets stagnated is one of the things that I do. So yeah, I mean I kind of defaulted to Mowgli. I had never seen the Rajas in your guys' list, so I'm kind of learning here too. So I really do like the Raja options, because a little bit more pressure and way more important to play on too than Mowgli.
Yeah, I mean the whole goal of this deck I think is to play overstated characters and just trade really well on the board, and then like end the game with your Genies and Ursulas and Simbas and just go super wide super quick.
Yep.
I do think this deck looks really, really good, and it's performed pretty well from what I watched Matthew play. I like after the Iago problem of that being a problem for the deck, and me putting in the Hypnotic Shrinks, the next problem is just like the inconsistency of the deck. Like it has like the raw power and it can do really good things sometimes, but then it just draws bad some games and it's inconsistent and you just lose. And so I like that this deck has the Rajas and it plays less Pluto and it tries to just not let that happen as often. But I do think we should lean more into that and potentially like play more Palace Guard, the 1-cost 1/4, maybe 2 more Raja. And so we always can like secure that early game a little bit. And I don't know, but that's probably something else I would like to try.
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, if I was going to edit this deck, I would definitely add 4 Raja on the deck. I would probably cut like a Scrooge and a Simba or something.
Yeah, I love. I mean, the Scrooge into Simba line honestly is probably the most fun playing / testing I've had this set, just because it's such a busted line and it's just so it's so backbreaking, I guess, in the sense of like if you are playing a best of 3 and you did do that game 1 to your opponent and it like blew them out, and so then the next turn they Hades the Scrooge, so they can't do that again, but then you just play the Simba anyways, and then there's no way to answer it, and so yeah, you're paying the 3 costs to do it, but now you have this massive 5/5 that quests for and is pulling out stuff for a cheaper cost. It's just it's really fun. Yeah.
While we're talking about that, there's also other fun things you can do with like the Cheshire Cat. Sometimes
sure.
You can play Cheshire Cat, use Scrooge, put a card underneath it, move damage, and then boost it, move 2 more damage. Like
Yep.
it's play another Cheshire Cat from your hand, do 2 more damage. Like you can do crazy stuff with Cheshire Cat and that Scrooge.
Yep.
Um,
I will say it might have been you telling me the story. I swear I did it at some point. Is have a Scrooge on board, play Simba, get the free boost. So you do the boost, and then off of the Simba, you get a Cheshire Cat, and then since you played another boosted character, you get to boost that for free, and get to move the damage for free off of that. And so, yeah, it just ends up being one of those like chain situations where it can get out of hand really quick. And so that was the initial like fun piece of it for me. And kind of when I started to fall off of like, oh my gosh, this is like a real thing. This is definitely what I want to do is when I, was needing those later game turns to continue to fight and not really like put pressure on the board and just, do my own thing. It was more like, oh gosh, I need to play Demona so I can exert things so that I can challenge back and, kind of try to gain back board control. That I, started cutting Scrooge and, cutting Simba back a little bit, that I decided to move on from it for now, at least. Again, we've only been doing this for a week. And so going into, CCS, for me personally was, kind of falling apart and was like, okay, I guess I need to play something a little bit more tried and true, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, I guess the next piece of this is, at what point do you feel like this is it? Like, we're talking about the testing process, kind of, starting at the theory side, starting at the, this is an idea. This is kind of what I want to start with. Things are working, things aren't working. We're iterating. At what point do you guys feel like, okay, this is like where I want to be? Like no more changes are needed. Like this is, my end goal.
So for me, I think it's if you're playing online against random people, that's like the best way you can determine your deck's like power. Like there's no better way because the best players are at the top of the leaderboard and pretty consistently. And just most of those players are going to be good. If you keep winning and keep winning, you're going to continue to play better and better players, and you're going to just know. So I like to put limits on myself. Like, okay, what tournament am I expecting to go to? Oh, I'm going to go play in like this weekend. I'm going to go play in a case tournament. So I expect 5 rounds, maybe 6 or something like. Well, definitely not 6, but 5 rounds, including top cut, maybe like 7 or 8. So it's different than going to like Zach going to a CCS where he knows it's going to be 9 rounds at like probably for sure 9 rounds and then 3 more with top cut. I think it changes the type of deck you want to play. You can play a more consistent deck at the CCS versus like a more powerful deck that might be not as consistent, and you can take it to a lower like size tournament because you don't have to be consistent as often, and you can high roll. So that's why I'm kind of wanting to play this Amber Amethyst deck this weekend just to try to have fun and play with it. But I don't think it's a great choice for Zach because it's going to be 9 rounds, and we haven't yet made a deck that I think can consistently play 9 matches and not lose because of itself. And I don't think that's the type of deck you necessarily want to bring. I think if we had another week, it might be a good option, but it's a time crunch and it's a big opportunity and a lot of money on the line. So I think Zach will probably end up not playing it, and I will advise him not to. At the same
Yeah,
but I do think
unfortunately,
I don't think the time was necessarily like wasted though. Like putting that deck together and playing it, I had a lot of fun. Like
yeah, I agree.
mm-hmm.
I agree.
And I'm not done with it yet either. We have a foundation now, and we can continue working on it. And it may be a deck that's, it's really just a set 11 deck, and we don't even know. And we already have all this like prior games with it. And so set 11 comes out and we're ahead. So you never know.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, I had a ton of fun practicing it this week and had a very just different, mindset of it. There were definitely times where we were playing and like you'd play it where you'd be like, no, you should definitely just play the Ursula and start questing and like just, you be the aggressor. And I'm like, man, I'm so used to like having to fight for the board and, not like let your opponent go out. I'm not used to having 3 characters on board that quest for 2, 2, and 3 this early on in the game. Usually it's a, opponent playing a Vincenzo really late in the match that's, allowing them to do that. And being able to do that on like 4 or 5, with the Pluto/Lantern into, Genie Ursula is just crazy. And so it's, you get into the mindset, you have to, change your play style a little bit, potentially you have to, iron out the kinks. But yeah, I think ultimately just, getting new reps on something is very good at making you a more well-rounded player and understanding different aspects of the game. But yeah, I'm curious at Matt's answer too on like what, how he like feels good about his final list, and when he decides to finally like call it good and I guess submit the deck list.
I mean, I have never rolled up to a tournament feeling like my deck is 100% perfect, because I don't think there is a thing of a perfect deck. There's a perfect deck for that tournament, and then
Sure.
it's always going to be changing.
Sure.
I mean, it should never stay the same week to week, in my opinion. Unless it's like, just like the perfect deck, like you're playing all 4 ofs and the deck just feels good every single game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like set 1 Ruby Amethyst. I think there was like a consensus on that. But with as many cards as we have these days, I think you're right. I think there probably will always be changes. But no, I think that's a really good point to make too. Is that there will constantly be shifts in the meta, and when the meta shifts, the importance of specific cards and your lists then also goes up and down. And so when you have those kind of changes, being aware of what's going on and being able to read the room, if you will, helps. I guess dictate some of those changes that need to be made. But Cody, if you're still awake and here, I just kind of like your thoughts now on, kind of seeing as, you've been in a lot of these calls and in a lot of the stuff with us as we've been kind of going through this. And so kind of just your thoughts on like an overarching standpoint on how everything's gone and any input.
Imagine if I wasn't awake and you just led with that. And
I know. That'd be hilarious. It'd be like, all right, and we're moving on.
You should have just not said anything.
Yeah, I'm excited to start testing for Richmond, which I think is going to be really interesting. And honestly, getting to see stuff like that's not meta doing really well always makes me super excited. Like, I cannot tell you how giddy I get whenever I was seeing like Pluto and Dabugera. I'm like, yes, this is the meta breaker that no one's gonna see coming. But
yeah, real quick, like we made it into the top 100 on the online ladder for those people that follow.
Yeah, you were talking about like playing against good people on ladder. Sometimes those good people are playing Simba and Scrooge on ladder in top 100.
It happened. I mean, genuinely, it did happen. I mean, I think I even made it to top 75. But anyways, it's you're always an off. I should have probably led with this because this is what I wanted to ask you too. But you've always kind of been an off meta, not like pick the most like tier 1 whatever deck, and so
whatever is tier 1.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of Hayden's. He mentioned that at the very beginning too, his kind of thought process, and so. What's, for somebody out there that doesn't always like playing the meta or doesn't want to play mirrors all day long, kind of what's the upside to playing something like off meta like this, that could catch people off guard? I mean, I'm kind of giving.
That's basically it. Like, you're going to be playing something where people haven't tested into a certain card, certain style, certain even just deck archetype altogether. So it gives you just an edge in those tournaments where, like it's a little bit different. Yeah, like I think what Hayden was saying, than like a case tournament where it's just like, I'm just gonna play something that maybe I want to play or something that's just like good. But then when you get into those like big fields, like a DLC or CCS, obviously, then having that edge is what's gonna send you over. I always like to refer to what won the first NA DLC. Amber Amethyst, no one would have put money on that, so I think that just keeps you referring back to the point that like there's nothing that's fixed, there's nothing that's going to be the 100% perfect list, and sometimes breaking outside the box is what's going to get you free wins.
And it's crazy how much my mindset on that has changed too, because if you had asked me a year ago this like same question on like playing off meta, I probably I might have even said on the podcast at some point that like it's crazy. You just the best lists are the best lists for a reason, and so you should just play the best cards because they're strong and they're proven and there's no reason not to. But I think given the opportunity to shake things up or to find something that hasn't been proven, my mindset now is that people are very I guess, horde mindset in the sense of, we all net deck and we all just go on and see what won the CCQ in Wakefield or won the CCQ in Vegas or won this, the DLC in Milwaukee or whatever the case might be. And like, those are the lists that people gravitate to because it's just a very easy lift and not everybody has the same time.
It's pretty easy to guess what decks are going to be consistent, right?
Yeah. And so it's very, it's much less about like, I guess, like playing something off meta, but if you have the time to go practice and to go put in the work to find something that isn't, the quote, like tried and true decks, then you really do have the opportunity to find that, a diamond in the rough and like really catch people off guard. Like at DLC Atlanta last year when Amber Amethyst won and caught everybody off guard. There's definitely nothing wrong with playing anything off meta or trying new things or trying to quote break the meta, because there's definitely the opportunity to do it. You just have to be able to devote the time to test thoroughly into all the stuff people will be playing.
And I will say this game makes it really hard to do that, and I think that's why it is really easy for a lot of people to net deck, because you start with one deck and then you have these problems, or you kind of figure out what's good and what's bad, and you go and make changes, and now you have to go play through all these matchups and see how those 6 to 8 cards affect your matchups, like in the early game, the late game, going first and going second. And then you fix those problems, and then once you do, now you have to do that process over every single time you change the deck. Basically, you have to go through every matchup and see how it affects that matchup, because each card can be pivotal in the matchup. Playing a card on turn 3, first playing a different card on turn 3 changes everything. So it's really difficult, I think.
Again, very time intensive, and that's why I'm just so grateful to have a lot of strong players around in this group that we have, because a lot of those opinions and a lot of those findings can be shared, where if you're trying to do this solo, I don't know how many hours you'd have to put in, but you'd have to basically be doing this full time, I think, to find something off the wall. But yeah, I think that's all like the main thoughts, I guess, through the kind of the process.
Oh no, we've lost our captain.
We own the podcast.
Captain
now.
Zach is gone.
Cody
We did it.
finishes out.
Cody.
Yeah,
No, I'm back.
No.
I'm
Cody,
back.
Cody's no. Cody's the host now.
Okay,
This is a coup.
Yeah, Cody can go. Cody can go. That's fine.
No, I don't have anything. I was just we own the podcast now.
I don't know. My internet must be terrible, but yeah, I just thought that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, so I'm going to CCS this weekend. Cody decided not to go, even though he's got points on the leaderboard as well. So they did release the
I'll still make it.
CCS.
They can't pump me out that much, right?
I don't know. It might. I mean,
I don't say that.
I mean, you'll still be. So they announced. It's top 128 players are going to get their invitational, which is in like August of next year.
37.
Top 128.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And I am very lucky enough. I made the top cut last in the first one in end of August, beginning of September, and so I'm in like 12th or something. Hayden is in 53rd, and Cody was like 37 or something.
Yep.
So yeah, we have a couple people on the leaderboard. Be pretty cool if we could all end up making the invitational. And then I think the other cool thing that they announced, them being CCS, is that they are doing the last 2 in Houston. They opened a store in Houston. Yeah.
Really?
They opened a store in Houston.
I didn't know about that either.
I think a couple months back. It might have been over the summer. They opened their new version. Or actually, no, I think they announced the opening of it in the summer, but not that it had opened. I think it's opening at the beginning of next year. Anyways, long story short, we're a lot closer to Houston too. I don't know. Maybe we aren't closer to Houston. Might be about the same,
that would
actually.
make
We are definitely closer.
And I know a lot of people would want to go to big tournaments like that if it was closer.
Everyone, almost everyone from our local scene will go.
Yeah.
Probably versus Atlanta, where most of them would.
Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Houston, I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, so anyways, the last 2 are in Houston.
That's so exciting.
8.5 hours from me, which means for you
7
two,
hours 40 minutes.
I was about to say for you two, it's probably at least an hour closer.
Hey, I want to get a flight.
I'm 100% flying too, but
Bro,
It's a
Let's
direct
be a
flight.
bus.
I
It's
want
a
to
United.
drive.
It's a United hub.
The
So
driving
it's
is fun
a direct
though.
flight.
It's the ride. It's all
Yeah,
about the
remember
ride.
last time when we all got COVID? That was so awesome.
I know, because of Cody.
Because of Hayden. He
You're
came
the
in and
sick crab.
sneezed on me.
You are the sick crab. I don't even know if we talked about that. I'm sure we did. That Daniel, me, Mo,
No.
Hayden, Cody, all is that all? Was that all of us? Yeah, all stayed in the same
Yeah.
house, and we all got sick.
Yeah, we like
And-
survived the day 1 of CCS. Day 2 was not very good.
Yeah, I luckily didn't start feeling bad until the end
You
of day
nasty
2.
people. Go to the tournaments
Okay.
healthy.
So let me tell you what happened. I went to Florida to play in the SSG Invitational
Oh yeah.
that
Florida
weekend
ones.
before, and then didn't fly back until that Tuesday.
And
It
then
got back that Tuesday, worked like that Wednesday night, and then we left early Thursday morning.
first thing Thursday morning.
I was only home for one day, and I was in like 4 different airports or something like that over like that 5-day span. I'm sorry, it was probably my fault. I would apologize to all of
Nah.
you.
No,
I don't know.
someone else that
The-
brought it to CCS and we just got it.
The
Maybe.
funniest, I don't know if it's the funniest actually, because he probably doesn't agree. But looking back, it's kind of funny that Matt's flight got delayed so much that like it got canceled essentially, and so he was supposed to be with us,
Yeah, very funny.
but he never ended up making it, and so he didn't get sick.
Dodged a bullet.
I know, lucky.
It was funny
Uh,
though, no, because I think I was sick before everyone else. Like the day of the first day 1, I was sick.
Yeah, you said you didn't feel great, but
Yeah, it was my Jordan Flu game, Jordan Flu Day tournament. But even though I did well day 1. I started 4-0, I think. And
you did great. Yeah, it was the last. Like you were up, you were in it until the last round.
Mhm.
You played R&B in the mirror and lost the die roll, and those were the days where if you were playing a Blurple player that knew what they were doing, then winning the die roll was pretty much a.
Yeah, and I got lucky because I went 1-2 to start the day, and then I won every game from that moment on.
You always do that.
So we say that a lot, but there's the evidence to back it up.
I probably had one of my top 5 Lorcana games ever that day.
Beat
against
Ghosty.
Ghosty.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
It wasn't. I won't even say just beating Ghosty. That game was just insane. Like it was just so funny because it was me on Blurple versus him on Dogs, and it's like the first like 6 turns were just so textbook, but then we'd probably spend like 10 minutes each game just going over like the last like 3 turns. Because it was all like math of like what top decks you could draw, blah blah blah, yada yada, and I happened to play to my out, and I drew exactly what I needed.
Yep.
what you gotta
I mean,
do.
that's how it goes sometimes. But anyways, yeah, so back to like the initial, like how we got off on the CCS tangent is, yeah, so there are 2 more. They will be in Houston. Unfortunately, the third one, the first one in Houston is the same weekend as the DLC in Ghent, which I did get a ticket to. So I'm hoping that they move that. That would be kind of cool if they saw that it was a overlap, because obviously a lot of dog owner, because a lot of I think the top people, obviously all the pros, like Zan and a lot of like the Maelstrom guys, basically all the world class people all go to the DLCs, and so I would imagine CCS is going to see a little bit of a downtick from their normal like high attendance of like the top people because of that. But that's just me being selfish. I guess everybody else on the team that's going to go that doesn't have to deal with that crowd might be happy about it. But yeah, I would hopefully be able to go to that one, and then if not, and I don't have enough points to qualify after this weekend, then I'm definitely going to the last one in the end of May, I think it is, and then trying to finalize all those points to get myself in that 50K invitational.
50K is a lot of money.
That's a massive tournament for 128 people. I mean, obviously, don't know what the payout's going to be, or like what I'm trying to. I guess that's a bad way to word it. What the payout structure will be, how many people of that 128 get paid out. But I mean, I would
It's
imagine
got
if
to
you
be
make
10K to first, right?
I would imagine it's more than that. I would imagine it have to be 20.
Unless
I don't
everyone
know.
gets something for 128, you know?
I don't know that, because that was my initial thought. Is like, okay, so everybody gets like $200 or something. I don't know, like something. But then it's like, okay, like then it's much less. I mean, I guess it is an invitational, and so that obviously matters. It means
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but if you know, and then if you pay 100 people, I mean, you know, let's just say everybody's like guaranteed 200, then that's
128.
yeah.
That was a lot of money.
So I'm saying that's 25. That's half the prize pool right there. That's
Mhm.
$25,500. And
I
so
guess you could do that.
I mean, you
but-
could do $100 a person, and then like offset some of the travel costs, I
At
guess.
least
But
10.
True, I guess
At
that would be
least 10.
nice to
If I
offset some
don't
of the
make at
travel
least
costs.
10, that's gonna be very upsetting.
Because that's the worst thing about the SSG Invitational was like I went there and traveled and paid for myself by myself and go and stay, and then got top 4, never got
I was
paid.
gonna say I don't.
Yeah, and then
We should
yeah,
definitely
and then
mention. I
top
think
4
it's.
store closes down,
Yeah,
company disappears.
I think it's safe to talk about that now. Like we definitely never mentioned that, but yeah, Hayden got that top 4 and never got any of his prizes. No money, no cards, nothing.
Wait, I know I got a bag. I got $1,000 bag.
Oh, you also got a mat too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I got 2
yeah,
mats.
and yeah, he did get like the championship or whatever, like the top mats, because those were printed and given to people before. But I just remember being in Bologna and him being like, "Hey guys, I still haven't gotten paid," and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And then like the next day,
No, they came up to me and told me that.
no, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, but then like I don't
Yeah.
remember how long after that it was announced that they were like
The Monday.
happened, but it was like right after that, wasn't it?
It was the it was the
Hayden got
Monday
an
we got
email.
that.
It's like, would you take store credit? And Hayden said no. Store closes.
I mean, regardless, I guess it doesn't matter because
Tip
even
is
if
get your prizing before you leave.
yeah, I mean,
I should have
that's-
just taken store credit while I was there. I should have gotten some cool enchanteds, and I should
I
have.
mean, who would have ever guessed that was gonna happen?
True. I mean, the first time I went and got my top 8, they gave me a check, and I cashed immediately. The next, it was in my account by Monday, so I didn't have like any reason to doubt them. And we went there, and they gave everyone a mat. Everyone for just showing up, they had a mat and a mat bag. They had little bags for everyone, and so
Well,
like
that's obviously why they went out of business. Not everyone can afford the map.
every time I go and get a drink, they give it to me for free. Like I didn't have any reason to like doubt it.
This is kind of funny, but definitely not a diss on Sharp Gaming. But I just wanted to like call this out because I thought it was very funny. But there was was it the first one or was it the one I won with Christmas? I don't remember. One time when I won the top 8 prizing at Sharp, I saw Philip give cash to someone in front of me who was in top 8, and then when it was my turn, he made me a check, and I'm like, I'm getting scammed. What just happened?
I would feel bad. Yeah.
I was just like, wait a second.
I want a big check next time. If I win and get first, someone should bring me out a big check.
Dang, that's a great
idea.
idea. They really should be doing that for
Right?
tournaments. Like
like a giant Lorcana cards.
It's got to be
like
what
a check.
$60 to make or something.
I don't know. I just remember that
Hell,
that episode of The Office.
Send me to Walmart. I'll make you one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could do like a fake one. But
I work at a bank. I can go do this. I
True.
know people.
Whoa.
I'm sure there's got to be some sort of closet somewhere in the headquarters that's just filled with big checks, right?
I just remember that episode of The Office where they were doing the fun run and they raised like, I don't know, like $100 from people in the office. And it was going to be like $60 for the big check. And Michael was like, we have to have the big check to give to the winner. And so that's everything. But yeah, I mean, I just imagine like everybody else, like holding up their like, set champs.
They're tiny, weeny checks.
Yeah, or like whatever. And then like you've got like a big
We
check.
have junior checks.
Oh, CCS needs to do that for the winner of the Invitational. Like whatever it ends up being, if it's 15 or 20K
No,
or
Sharp
whatever
needs to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Sharp needs to do it too.
I'm selling this idea to them. I own the rights to big check.
Type it in the
Great
Discord right now. Yeah. Is any other? I mean, I guess is anybody else playing in the tournament locally this weekend?
I'm gonna try to make it to the case tournament.
Yeah, Mo will
Matt
be there,
goes,
I
I'll
think.
go. Wait, are you going, Cody?
I'm slightly a traitor in this game. If I
Oh.
get pressured, I'll play Lorcana. But I honestly have been enjoying Riftbound here lately.
He's
and
a
that's
Riftbound,
The first
yeah.
skirmish is also around then.
Yeah, no, but you have Richmond coming up really quickly. It might be the last time.
Yeah, I
we go
know.
and play in a big
Like
tournament.
an overbearing mom. You keep reminding me.
Yeah, we just want us all to do well. So sorry for pushing our friends to do well.
I know. I will be there.
I had this whole bit ready to go, and Cody ruined it. I thought for sure he would be in Speranza right now, just raiding it up, and I was gonna. And my opening joke was gonna be, and for all those that you have been with us for a couple weeks now, Cody. I hope you enjoyed Cody because he's not going to be back again because he's too busy playing Arc Raiders.
Here, we can out myself. So I started playing Arc Raiders last Monday. You want to guess how many hours I have?
Oh Jesus,
160.
I was gonna say 100. I was gonna say 100 for sure.
Oh wow, y'all really think I have no job?
No, I'm at 44.
Thank you,
way
Matt.
more than
Thank
that.
you, Matt.
Way
I'm at
more than
68.
Oh, okay.
I thought it would be 100 easy.
Okay, well, guys, that's like I've played this game more than a work week and a week. A week and a weekend. So like it still sounds bad. I'm just not as bad as obviously y'all think I am.
It's funny because I've been doing that, but playing Amber Amethyst.
Yeah, it's true.
We're dedicated to the cause. Cody's
honestly, for how many hours I have in Arc Raiders, that's probably what we can attribute to Hayden playing Amber Amethyst. Because if we're ever in Discord together, like doing whatever it may be, Hayden is sitting there streaming Amber Amethyst, just being this is my 100th Pluto into Bagheera turn. Yeah,
it literally is. That's what I'm saying. And I could like write a guide on that deck right now.
You could. Like honestly, compared to like all the other decks, it's kind of crazy how many hours you put into that one.
I also put a lot into red purple.
You put it in there because you kept saying that it's just like the most fun deck, and it looks super fun. It just takes all those good purple cards, and you get to play all these like every single one of the Amber cards is just fun, right? Pluto is a fun card. Bagheera is just fun stats. Scrooge and Simba plays. I'd pause my game and be like Simba or the Simba into Scrooge and flipping another Simba, and then that causes the space-time continuum to flip out.
That's how it felt sometimes when you go Simba into Ursula, stuff like that. It felt so good.
Yeah, I still do think there is definitely something there for Richmond.
Oh, well, even if it's not, it's definitely like a fun deck to take to like a set champs that's going to catch people off guard that can definitely win a set champs,
and
like 100%.
We will 100% guarantee you will win games with it.
100%. You'll win a lot of games with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I need to put a couple links to them. I need to put a link to a couple of these in the description below. So if anybody does want to copy the list, that they can do with their leisure. It's definitely as we said, like not spoiler alert, but like warning, not refined. Will lose games, but is a lot of fun. And we'll definitely win games too. But yeah, I think there's definitely something there for Richmond. I think Hayden said that earlier. Like with more time.
From the guys who brought Christmas, here's Amber Amethyst this season.
Yeah, and I think if other people try it, they can make it better, and then we'll see some people top set champs with it if they take it, and then it'll keep getting better and better and better. And maybe it is
just a lot of ways you can build it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
different ways.
More aggro,
you can go more combo-y, because I bet you this is probably the best boost-related deck,
Could play Duckworth.
For sure. Duckworth, which one? Oh, the purple one. Yeah, I remember we talked about that one already. I was thinking of the green card that whenever you play it, you can boost something for free. But
okay, never mind. I don't want to release the sauce.
I think that's that might be like behind the Metafy wall. I didn't mention Mo's Metafy earlier, and I should have. But yeah, if you're still on the green purple Mo hype train, he's still on the team.
Yeah, what sauce are we gonna leak from Mo? Oh, Mo's gonna play green purple.
He's just too busy writing guides and coaching now to be part of us because he's gone into the stratosphere with this.
No, he's also playing the other art game too.
Yeah, no, that's what he's doing right now.
Oh yeah, he plays Ark Survival, the dinosaur game.
Yeah, but he's getting some wifey time, so.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up today. Any other final thoughts? I guess my last final thought / question is, Matt, if you go this weekend, what are you playing? You have to lock it in right now, and you can't change it.
Ooh. Never leak the exact 68 card list.
What am I taking? Purple steel, but I'm gonna put Monster.
Oh yeah, he likes the. He has a very you can't give him the thumbs down for his purple steel. Purple steel in general, you can give him the thumbs down for, but his purple steel is. I think
If you play any one drops, you can't play any one drops.
I can play 7.
No, you can play
7.
0 one
Seven.
drops.
I was gonna
Feels
say
like-
4.
It
Just
feels
4
like
Captain Hugs.
this feels like what's those storage wars? It's like you're like making bids out there. It's like 4 1
Nope.
drops. It's
Only
like it's like how low can you go? It's
Best
like,
I can
I'm
do
gonna
is
play
4.
8 1 drops. Oh, look at this
Uh,
dog.
Okay, Hayden. Final thoughts. Go.
Am. I'm probably playing that because I played it a lot and it'll be fun either way. I
You'll win
think
so many games.
I think people should try it. It is such a fun deck to play, and there's so many different ways you can play it. You can construct it to your own play style. I do think it has legs and it can catch people off guard. Yeah, try
What
it.
deck
It's
doesn't
fun.
have legs?
Good question.
Ruby Steel.
Oof.
No, that deck's also good right now. I think
Oh my god.
No,
That would-
Ruby
There's no.
Steel are like
there's
gambling addicts.
there's an alternative reality where I
One more
played
time.
Ruby Steel for this last week.
One more card be printed.
Sapphire, Amber.
This set.
I'm just saying now that the format is more curved, like based, that deck also can shine because it has the steel
That's
songs.
true.
It has
There's
singers.
so many ways they can draw now, like the opponent's Demona. You're
Opponent's-
welcome.
They're Goliath.
Yeah, Goliath.
You have Goliath and Dog. That's all you need.
You've
Yeah,
got
you can
to.
build budget red seal. Just let your opponent play the Goliath.
Yeah.
How much
All
are
right.
Goliaths now? Okay, never mind.
I don't know. They're pretty cheap. Matt and guest, what are your final thoughts? Go.
Well, you didn't ask what I was gonna play.
Yeah,
You're
what's Cody?
last. Cody's not playing though. He's gonna play Riftbound
No,
and
I
Arc
was
Raiders.
gonna play Misfortune, Dazzling Aurora. I got the showcase version. It's
Oh my
pretty
God.
cool.
Gonna ban on. You can talk about Arc Raiders once an episode, but you can't talk about Riftbound.
Okay, what if I said I was talking about League of Legends?
No
What
Aran
if I was
either.
talking about Arcane, the Netflix TV show?
I still
Which they
have,
just announced that Lux was gonna be in it. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh my
I
god.
thought it was over.
It
I don't
just
know.
got started.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started.
God, I'm so okay. Matt's gonna get us back on subject and wrap us up. Any final thoughts? Are you good to go? Put you on the spot. Okay. Think that finally does wrap it up then.
Oh, I have final thoughts.
You just talked about them and you went off.
No, you didn't. That was my deck choice.
Okay.
Stop.
Final thoughts, Cody. Go.
Where are we? Okay, there we are. I lost this for a second. Dental work sucks. Shout out Sabrina Carpenter,
Sure.
Chia Batty. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's
All
the
right.
message from the president.
Sabrina, come hit us up. I guess I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know
join
how
the
to-
pod.
I don't know how to follow up with that one. Yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you on. All right.
Yeah.
I literally am just gonna keep rambling at that point. So that would be it. Thanks everybody for listening, watching. Always.
Oh, I would also accept Hannah Montana on the podcast.
I don't think that can happen.
That's a perfect way to end it.
Mhm.
Bye.